Hello engineers, and welcome back to another episode of Automated. We are currently at World 4 Level 4, Chrono Luminary at the Matrix Reloaded. We are trying to get 5 stars. There's only 5 people placed on the leaderboard at this level at the moment, so if you haven't checked out this game yet, I encourage you to get it. It's a lot of fun. Let's go for it. Alright, let's see what we have here. We gotta deliver 50 Chrono Luminary matrices in 225, or to get 5 stars, 2 minutes. So we're gonna try to hit 60 per minute. And this thing is created at 60 per minute in a dissolution chamber. The process is absolutely massive, and it requires a lot of things. There's a lot of common things though. So here's the recipes that I think initially we should go with. I'm going with the advanced furnace for this pink stuff because we need 2 sets of this nebulite prism to make the 120 we need here. We need 2 sets of the nebulite prism to make the 120 that we need here. And we can either do that in a, well, obviously we're not going to do the welder, otherwise we're going to need 4 welders for this. We're going to do the aluminum beam recipe, and we can do this raw, or we can do this in a dissolution chamber with this liquid. And I'm going to go with this liquid because we're going to have to make salt water for this process anyway, all the way up to here. So it's just an extra biofluxer. That's all it is. So that's not going to be an issue. Let's set this up first. So it's a furnace press welder system. It's going to be 2 dissolution chambers at some point. Into the dissolution chambers is going to go any of these. So the press is okay because it goes from, comes out at 240 and we only need 120. So if we just get 1 press going into one of these splitters, we should be all good. And then if we just get 2 cutters going like that, we should just be able to split this 3 ways, get that through there. Now can I push this all the way back here? I can. Like that and that. Now if we just overclock all of this, we should be able to see if the volumes are okay. So overclocking our, wait, these are not presses, these are furnaces, all right? So this is okay, which means we can do something like this. And then one needs to sort of stick out a little bit, unfortunately, but that should be fine. And then we do something like this and this. Overclock these, the volume should be okay. Overclock these, and we should be sweet. This is a nice little condensed setup to get our 60 per minute aluminum coating. Now, with the 60 per minute aluminum coating, we need to mix it with the pink stuff, which is right next door, thankfully, inside a welder. That's fine. Let's start making our salt water. So our water is over here, our salt is over here. So next to all my stuff, I'm tempted to put in our quantum pipe transporters just for now. That way we can figure out what we're gonna do with this stuff. In, out. We need the in and the out. Where can I put this? I like putting it back here so that I have room to work. Something like that for now. Configure it to be on whatever network. Copy one onto this side near the salt. Do something like that for now. But we need a dissolution chamber. So that can be shifted anywhere. The out needs to go up into this. Then we can set the filter to water. That gets us our brine and nice and clean. Then it needs to go into a biofluxer. Like that. And to make this liquid chloride, we need to put it into another biofluxer. You can put it in facing this direction because this is the only process that needs it. Like that. And we can do a nice little tight pipe across here. That's not going to work because we need to hop up over. And in you go. And that gets our 120 aluminum that we need to mix with the nebulite. The nebulite is over here. We're going to need 240 into each one. So something like this. If I put my welders all the way in the corner, for now, that kind of works. What would be better is if I took this out and then we went out this way. We do need to split this at some point. And then we split it like this and like this. Otherwise I need 2 lifts, but this I can condense down to 1 lift. Maybe we'll shove it all the way in the corner. Trying to condense as much space as possible. We'll do something like this, that, and then if we bring in a lift like this, another belt into there, then we can belt this out into a lift. Just like this for now. We can move this stuff a little bit later. What are we blocking in? We're blocking in this pretty hard, but that's fine. We can transport that. But we should be able to transport this somewhere like that. We overclock these, and then we need to upgrade everything. We need to upgrade these belts. We need to upgrade this lift, this thing, and this thing. It doesn't like this. Ah, here. 120, 120. That's our 2 pink things down, and we've used up very little space. That's fantastic. What else is hard? This shadow crystal is going to require sulfuric acid, which we can make. Otherwise, if we don't use sulfuric acid, it's going to require copper. And we only need to make it at... Well, is there an easier recipe that makes it at 60? This makes it at 60. This is overkill. But we can do it if we want. It's pretty big, the advanced cutter method of doing this. It's not that big. It's 1 advanced cutter. But we're not using sulfuric acid or its components anywhere else, are we? I mean, technically we need the water steam for this. That's the only thing they share in common. So I'm tempted not to go the sulfuric acid route. Let's work on... So we've gotten this and this. Let's work on the shadow opal shard, which shares materials with this. This is definitely going to need to come out at 120. Let's see if I can fit it all up here. So we need to build this. Then we're going to need our standard design for our press furnace into an advanced cutter. If you're enjoying the video and you want to support Data Engineer Plays, don't forget to leave a like and hit that subscribe button. And if you have any feedback or suggestions, feel free to share them in the comment section. Which is basically this, and I need to fit 3 of these here. So we can fit, say, like 1 all the way on the edge. We'll fit it like here. Can fit another one next to it. And then we can fit a 3rd one, say, here. It's a little bit tight. That should be okay because it's going downwards. I think it fits. We can move this one out a bit. If we use up all the space up here for this sort of stuff, we should be able to do this. Although this part is a little bit tight. Can we flip this one? Maybe. That way this first one can come in here. I'd like to go straight. Is it possible to reorder this such that the splitter is straight? If I put the splitter here, it's actually a little bit hard. So we can do something super janky like this and split up where it's happening, but at least this way we've split it up and we've put all 3 bits and bobs up here. Now with that, we should be able to overclock 2 of them like that. Give these 2 the correct amount of belting, and we want to limit this one. So we don't want 120. We only want this left output to be 60. Is this telling me we don't have enough? It's telling me we do. So this is 60 and now it's producing at 30. Let's just double check that we have enough. So we have our 2 belts of 120 for this. I haven't done the advanced pressing part of it yet. We have our 2 belts of 120 for this. And then we have our 2 belts, well, our belt of 30 for this, because we only need 30, which will make 60, which is all we need. Okay. So by doing it this way, we have just barely enough. And now we need to do the advanced press part of it. But we can do that up here, because the advanced press needs to go into another advanced press. Okay. With this stuff. This chromium crystal also needs to be used over here in some advanced furnaces. Sure. These are advanced furnaces, by the way, and we need a lot. We need 120 of these, so we need to fit in 2 advanced furnaces at some point. That's fine. We don't need the wood, so let's just build this. We can move this up here. Like this. Is this the right height? Yes. It doesn't like that. Why don't you like that? I can't move stuff from here to there. That can't be a thing. I must have to move it to here first. And then to here? Yeah, there we go. Didn't think so. That would be super awkward if I couldn't move stuff from here to here. But here's our 120 of this. Or 240 of this. So we're trying to put it into 2 advanced presses and then another press. So something like, let's just set it up first and then we'll position it. So these would go, say, here. Can even put it 1 further tile back in case we need more space. Overclock this. There's our 240. That's going to go into an advanced press. Just upgrade that 1 tile. There's our 240 of the power cables in. And then we just need to put in some of this. So I'm going to split this. And then we're just going to go into here. And there's our 120, but we should be able to overclock that to 240. Fantastic. The next thing I think we should work on is probably these 60 shadow crystals. So we need to put this into an advanced press. I'm going to put it here for now. Oh. Probably here. This is a little bit annoying. If we just put it somewhere. Yeah, this will be fine, right? Because we can get this out a different way. Get this water tube out of the way. Like that. Then this has an exit point. We can move the water tube later because I think we need to lift this out at some point. Get our lift in like that. And then get that in here. That gets our 60 per minute that we need. And our 60 per minute needs to go into an advanced cutter with one of these 120s. I might move this tube out of the way. Go here and in here in case we need a lift here. Connect that back up. And now we've got our 120 over there and our 60 over here. We need to bring them together in an advanced cutter. Ideally here. If we did it something like this, then we can belt one in like that. And then we just need to belt this in. Now, technically there is a non-lift path. We go this way. Like this. We could just walk all the way over here. Move this down 1. Go in there. And then go in like this. Is that not what we want? An advanced cutter. What are we missing? We've got this item and this item. Wrong building. Advanced cutter. There we go. There's our 60 of these that we need. That's one of our final materials. We can reorder where this goes later on. So our other 120 goes with this stuff. So this thing over here needs to merge with one of these pink things. And then we need to just cut this stuff, which is pretty straightforward. And then just mix it in with this in a dissolution chamber somewhere. We can do that process last. wherever it fits. It's not big. This thing is a little bit more annoying, where we need 2 advanced furnaces and it needs to mix with this thing. So I'm tempted to do that down here. I'm not gonna link the belts yet, but what I want to do is just put in the 2 advanced furnaces that I need for now. So just a placeholder that I actually need this at some point. Then we're gonna work on the hard thing, which is this liquid down over here. So we've got our salt water. Let's do this part first. In a chemical infuser, we need to link the water with, we need to turn the water into steam first of all, and then link it with the zinc. So that's a chemical infuser, it's quite big. Zinc solution is pretty easy. Let's just see where the best place to do it, because here's the zinc. I mean, the straightforward thing to do would just be put a dissolution chamber right here, and there's your zinc solution, because all of this process is massive. And then we need a chemical infuser and a packer storer. So it would make sense to put a chemical thing over here. We also need to biofluxor the liquid nitrogen. So if we use this one over here, if we say we leave room for it, say like this. Then we can put the water thing here, get that in there. That makes our steam. Now our steam and this need to go into a storer packer. Look how big this thing is. I'm gonna put it here for now. I don't know, this doesn't seem like an efficient use of space. But there's the liquid, there's the gas, so I'm gonna flip this for now. Let's join the gas. And we can bring the liquid up any which way. Connect it there. So there's the liquid, there's the gas. And that makes our 60 crystallizing agent. That needs to go in with cryo-alkaline solution, which requires the sodium from the biofluxor. Our sodium is here, and that needs to go into a chemical infuser with more water. Another chemical infuser. That's pretty crazy. Where can we fit another chemical infuser? Let's just put it here for now, because the water is here. And then we can use the output over here for the sodium. Because our sodium is here, what if we were to just use this and link the sodium into this? Like that. Now our network has sodium. We can bring the sodium out here because that's an output. We can bring it in like this and in there. Now, if we tell this output to be sodium, theoretically, we should get our cryo-alkaline solution. Our cryo-alkaline... Wait, that's just sodium hydroxide. Then we need to put it into another chemical infuser with liquid nitrogen. Oh dear. So this liquid needs to go in with this gas. So if we move our biofluxor over here, I'm just going to move it here for now, and that means I can shift all of this to the side because I don't need this liquid nitrogen over here. So that changes things slightly. Move that over here. This is our water steam. It's going to cut all of this. Our packer still needs to go somewhere. So like this and this, that gets this solution. This solution needs to go into a chemical infuser with liquid nitrogen. And then what goes into the packer? This and this. So we put our packer here. I can't put it directly against this thing because I need the heavy water. But if we shift it out one tile, then this can come out into something, because that then needs to go into... This is a liquid... What? Oh, it goes into a dissolution chamber, right? Dissolution chamber with this. Oh my god, this is so much to fit in. Let's get this chemical infuser in somewhere first. I can't put it directly here, because... issues. So let me put my packer thing out of the way. Then we can put this here, and we can run the chemical around the back. So if this liquid needs to go into a chemical infuser, let's get it going up and over. Like this, and that. Then we'll get the gas coming out this way around the back. Nice and out of the way. Wait. The gas needs to go through a biofluxer. So if we put our biofluxer on this side, say like this. Then we bring it around the back. Now, this liquid needs to go into a dissolution chamber. No, that's this liquid. It needs to go into the chemical, another chemical infuser. Oh dear. This thing might end up needing to go somewhere else. Yep, this is a lot of stuff. So basically it needs to go into this. But this chemical infuser over here can't block this. I'm just gonna move this out one so I can see what I'm doing. And this thing needs to go in with this. I'm trying to figure out if, like, is there anywhere I can put this chemical infuser that conserves more space? Can it be placed next to this liquid packer like this? This would be possible. That's enough space for things to come out here. What if we flip the order of this then? Like this. Is this biofluxor possible over here? Not by one tile. There's no way. Okay. If there's no way, there's no way. Let's just do it this way. So then this can go in here. Into this chemical infuser with this liquid. I'm gonna go up and over just to get this out of the way. Because we know there's gonna be stuff with that heavy water and things later. There's no point putting this pipe in the way. That needs to go into a dissolution chamber with this thing. So that should all fit now. Okay, that should be fine. Bring this over. We'll go up and then down. I can't think of a better way to fit this, even though there's a big wasted space over here. Like, if I rotated this, it's the same, right? I guess I save some space over here if I rotate it this way. I like this rotation because I feel like it would be more helpful. Otherwise, what am I doing with this space here? Let's do the rotation real quick. I'll be back when that's done. All right. I've pretty much reordered this into the smallest form factor I could think of, which is these two chemical infusers over here. This one's dealing with the water into water steam. This one over here is taking the water and the sodium from this quantum thing, which we can, I guess, move to this side now, into sodium, which is fine. And then this little infuser over here, actually, we could probably make this a little bit more tighter if we just move this out of the way. But yeah. The ultimate problem is these two machines. These are absolutely massive and there's like nowhere to put them. But we can always transport these liquids somewhere else if we wanted to. So I'm not too worried. We just need to make note that we need this because I'm looking at this thing over here. We need to process this thing because there's 960 of it coming out and we need quite a lot of it. So by my calculations, either we use an advanced cutter or we use a cutter which is much smaller and process all of it. So to do the 120 over here, we need the 60 which goes into 2 welder twice. So we need 120, which is 240. And then to do this, we need 120 times 2, 240 again. So this one takes 120, output 60. So we need 240 here and 240 here. I believe that will be enough. So we need to process all of that in cutters. And belts can't carry all of this. So we need to do it on site, I believe. So if we put this here like that, now what can I fit here? I'm going to reorder this thing. I'm going to move this over to this side because the water's already coming out over here. So we might as well in the water here. And then we can get rid of this long ass pipe and then we can just out the sodium here. Might as well do that. In the water there, out the sodium here. Now, why did I do that? Because now maybe I can put my biofluxer a little bit further back, say here. And now I can conserve a little bit of space over here. The output of the biofluxor does need to go this way, but that blocks the gas output. So if we go up and over, we can clear this gas output. Like say this. Great. How does that help me? Not really helps me in any way. These things can link into 2 belts and they both need to go this way. Can we do that better? If we take one belt out, say this way, and one belt say out this way, then can I fit the things I need to fit in here? Namely, can I now rotate this way? Yes. If I rotate that this way, then I don't need this to be like that. I can do this. And one of these inputs can be here and the other input can go up and over. I think that's better. Like this. Doesn't even need to go that far up and over. That's fantastic. We're getting there. Now, can I fit this packer thing over here? Technically, I could fit it right here. And then I can fit a dissolution chamber like right here. Is the output of this height incorrect? It is incorrect. But that's fine. I can fit the dissolution chamber right here. So if I just can connect the pipes now, there's no way this packer thing fits anywhere here, right? Yeah. So if I now bring this liquid pipe up this way, bring this out somewhere to join the liquid pipe. Get the gas steam from here. So this gas is going to be a little bit awkward to get out. Get this going this way. Get the gas going around the back here. Okay, it's one too low, so we just get it going higher. Wow, this still can't clear this pipe. There we go. That gets this out. That goes into the dissolution chamber. And the only other thing that needs to go into the dissolution chamber is the liquid that's right here. So in theory, that should be pretty easy to do. Like that. And that gets my liquid out right here. Fantastic. So that's all done. And now we've just got our very, very final thing to do, which means we need to biofluxer the water. Now that can be done anywhere, literally anywhere on the map. We need to biofluxer some water and mix it in with this. So we can do it down here because our water is outputting over here. That's a water pipe. No, that's not a water pipe. That's a water pipe there. Awkwardly tucked into a corner. Can we change the orientation of this to expose our water pipe? Okay, so there's the water pipe. And there's the green gas that we need. So would it make sense for a biofluxer to go, say, here? And then into a chemical infuser, which is quite massive. It's 2 gases, right? Okay, that should work. Let's get that into the biofluxer. We'll find some awkward high up path for it. Basically something like that. That gets our hydrogen out into here. And we need to mix it with this green thing. So we just need to pipe this output into here, essentially. Can we flip this? That doesn't make any difference. Just to make this gas pipe a little bit easier. There we go. That's our this thing. And then it needs to go into a biofluxer to make the final output. This thing is... I haven't even looked at where the exit point is. The receiver is here. Okay. The gas needs to go into a biofluxer. Like this. And that gets our final thing. That all needs to go into one final dissolution chamber here somewhere. We still got this to place, but we've got our 2 liquids now, which is fantastic. We've got our shadow crystal. We haven't pieced together this thing, which is also an overclocked dissolution chamber, which needs all of this stuff. But we've got all of this stuff out ready to go. We also need this thing. So where can we put our overclocked dissolution chamber? Have we made everything for this? We haven't actually made... Wait, no. We've got our chromium crystal wafer there. We've got our 120 things over here. And we've got our this thing over here. So it makes sense our dissolution chamber goes somewhere here. We also need to make this at some point. Can this be flipped like here? No, that would be crazy. I really want to put this like out to the side a little bit just because of space issues. But the travel time for this and this is terrible. Let's just put these 2 in first. That'll probably inform something. Basically, we need to carry 120 out this way. It needs to come in at some point. And then split into a splitter. That seems horrible. Do that. Doesn't matter which way I do this. If I did something like this, I think that's a shorter travel path. Get that at the right height, then bring that out like this. Not that that travel path is going to make the difference. And then we need this 240 as well. So that's going to go into here, and then we can put a lift, say, here. Line it up with this one. Get that going into there. And then we can do this. Wait, sorry. That goes into a welder. 2 welders. So this can be brought back a little bit. Like this. But these can be overclocked, right? To get our 120 that we need. Our 120 needs to go into 2 welders. There's even more to this process. We might want to do this up here. Now that we have space up here. Makes sense to do something like this. And then we bring the 120 into 2 welders. I'm doing it over here because it's so damn far to get to places. So we'll bring the 120 here. Our welders need to go a little bit further out. And we can do something like this. And then we can put in our lift, say, here. Like that. And that can go into here. Now, this belt, I wanted to take around the back. And into here. Like that. Can we get rid of this? Cool. Now this is 240 though. This is such a long belt. I really should put this on the other side, but I don't know how. It doesn't like this. Oh, I've put this in the wrong spot, sorry. Upgrade that, overclock that. So that's that done. We still need to piece together this in a dissolution chamber somewhere. And that's going to inform where we're putting this dissolution chamber. Because this one needs to come out here somewhere, preferably. Because this is our final product, right? The inputs for this dissolution chamber, there's 3 of them. One of them is this. One of them is this purple thing. And one of them is up here. No, it's not the purple thing. It's another one of these. So it's this belt over here is one of the inputs. So let's see if I can just put it here for now. That would be like this. This is the first input. Again, this needs to be upgraded. And I'm sure 100% that our power is not going to be right for this. Our second one is going to be this input. So we would do something like this. Or like this. That's only 120. Can this clear this? No, it has to be at least 1 higher. And I can't block all of this because there needs to be a liquid input. So this one can be here. Oops. Like that. So this one can go here. And then this final one that comes from the other side needs a little bit of a gap because we need to leave room for the liquid input. So it's going to be like this, and then that's going to be this thing. Into here. Now this also needs to be a Mark II belt because reasons. So that needs to be upgraded like that. Now we need to get the liquid. The final liquid is liquid deuterium, which takes heavy water into a biofluxer. Oh my god, I forgot that we need 2 biofluxers here. A biofluxer and another biofluxer somewhere. Oh my lord. Where are we going to fit one more biofluxer? And then the liquid needs to come out. This turned out surprisingly tight. But I can't put it here because there's nothing that can be done here. I can fit 1 biofluxer here and then I can technically fit it here. But it's a gas thing. Oh. If only I could fit it here. I'm 1 tile short over here. I need to move this thing out of the way. I guess we'll just have to do it in an inefficient way. So we'll take the liquid here and put it in like this. That gets us our gas. Now we can take our gas and we can put it into here. This is the input, right? So we can bring our gas this way. Probably flip this. Need to go all the way over and around. One more and around. So now this thing has gas in it. We can come out here and we can put our biofluxer anywhere. Probably here looks like a free spot. Now we need to get the gas out here. The output being this. And surprisingly, no, we can't get the gas out here. So we'll need to move this like here. Get the liquid going this way. And now we can run the gas out here and then up and over. Look how much extra pipe we need for this. The optimization for this is going to be insane. Now if we set this thing's output to be gas port filter, it's not connected to anything. Is this not into the input? Oh. Silly. Need to bring this over and actually put it into the output. Now with that outputted, we should be able to set the gas filter to deuterium, and that gets our liquid over here, and all of that is to get the liquid into here. So we can go up. This can come out. We'll find a path for it. It's going to hit this wall. So we'll go up. Up again. And then we should be able to bring it over here. There we go. Now we should be able to overclock this to 120. And that's it. That's every single material. Let's just double check. So we've got our two liquids. One. Hey, this is not working anymore because I've cut a gas pipe here. What happened to my steam? There we go. So we've got our liquid 1 there, our liquid 2 here, our 60 per minute shadow thing over here, which can be lifted out. Okay. Then we've got our 120 per minute thing here and our final thing here. So that's at least all very close to the exit, thankfully. And all of that's going to go into a dissolution chamber over here somewhere. I'm just going to put it some arbitrary spot, say like here. Can this pipe be like anywhere else? That's going to go into here, 120. Then this thing is going to need to connect to something. We need to find a clear path. It's going to be like here, but that's not a clear path. That's not a clear path. That is a clear path. So like that. And then that should be able to go into there. But we can't do that because we need to keep the liquid inputs clear. Like this and this. And now this thing still needs to connect somehow. And now we can get the liquids in. So this liquid is right here. So we need to clear the top of this thing. And then go in here. So that's 4 things. And then the final thing is this liquid that's coming out of here, which we just need to find a clear path for. We can bring it out this way. That's going to intercept with this belt. Then we can go in this way. It's going to intercept with this belt. But then we can just hop over this belt and go up and over and into there. And that gets our final product. Nice. And of course, this thing is in the way. So let's just move that out of the way. And then let's try to reconnect this belt. And it doesn't want to reconnect that belt, but maybe if we move this thing like here. We can reconnect this belt. Nice. Upgrade that, and that should get us our 60. So this is a solution. We're under power, but I think the speed is going to be a little bit slow, but the under power means we can accelerate any belts we need. So let's just run it and see how slow we are. I'm not even going to bother looking at what is slow because, well, I can have a look. This thing came out first. This thing came out second. And then we're waiting for this thing, I think, was the slowest. And now it's going. Can we do it under 2 minutes? We only have to deliver 50. And we did it under 2 minutes. Nice. How many stars? Hey, we got 5 stars straight away. Amazing. That took a lot of effort. We're number 3 on time, number 2 on power, and number 3 on space. Given there's only 6 people, doesn't really matter, but very happy that we got it first time around. In terms of the solution, well, it's just a matter of knowing that we need to make these things all together. So we're using, to make the pink prism, we're using this material in 2 advanced furnaces. No, sorry, we're not using that recipe. Let me start again. To make this, we're using this recipe because part of this is already being made. So we might as well just do the 1 extra biofluxer. It's more efficient than 2 advanced furnaces. So we're doing this, and that is just done the standard way with the aluminum. And then everything else is pretty straightforward. The hard part was this new recipe. And we can see this new part of the recipe takes up an entire sort of block of space over here. I'm sure everything can be done more efficiently, but yeah, we're pretty much using the entire map. It all got a little bit messy in the middle, but here's the recipes that we used if you want to follow along. So we're using this recipe for this. There's no option. We're making 2 sets of this in an overclocked advanced press. We're making 3 sets of structural cables up the north. Then we're making 2 sets of this nebulae prism. We're cutting 4 sets of this astrolite. We're making the shadow prism using the 3rd set of structural cables. We've already made the nebulae prism, so then you can just combine it to make the opal. This is your standard process for making liquid hydrogen chloride, and this is the brand new process for making stabilized etheric alkaline base. And then we merge it all into a dissolution chamber here at 60 per minute. You just need 1 non-overclocked dissolution chamber. Should get you enough time. So yeah, that's it.